We've all come across this saying that says, health is wealth. Give most importance to your health. Health has to be your priority. But we seldom give importance to ourselves or health unless we see someone near or dear to us going through a tough phase with their health, or unless we ourselves go through some very difficult situations with our health. I went through one of the most toughest phases with my health last year. And that's why I thought, let me make a video and share some of my experiences so that it helps others to feel that they're not alone and you can overcome any kind of challenges if you look at it from a better perspective or if you have the right kind of support. And hence I made this little effort of sharing my journey through my illness. It's going to be divided into two different parts simply because it's very difficult for me to talk about it for a long time. It's a very emotional journey for me. It's tough to speak about and revisit those memories, but I have to do it. I don't want to be selfish by keeping all the knowledge and all the learnings to myself. I want to share it with the world. I know there are many videos out there which people have shared. This is just going to add on to that list. So yes, it's going to be in two parts. Don't just stop with this video. Do look at the next one as well. The first video, I'm going to be focusing more on my journey pre-diagnosis and what happened when the diagnosis was given. And the second part of the video is going to be focusing more on what came across after the treatment was over. What were the challenges? How did I overcome? So these are going to be the two parts of how I'm going to be dividing the first, both the videos. So yes, to begin with, I was diagnosed with splenic marginal zone lymphoma sometime in August 2021. But this is not something that happened all of a sudden. I started facing major challenges with my health in December 2020. Yes, December 2020. Just after Christmas, I got some abdominal pain and had to admit myself in emergency in middle of the night and get some treatment done. And yes, at that time it was just seen as some kind of allergic reaction maybe, and there was some medicines and medication and short-term treatment given, and it worked pretty well. But things didn't stop there. I got those recurring pains again in January, in March, in April. So month after month, I started getting these very bad abdominal pain, and I visited a lot of doctors. Every time I went to a GP in Singapore, we instead of just directly going to any specialist, people do prefer to go to GPs over here first. And every time I went there, I was just told I'm having some gastric trouble. I was given some medicines. It would settle down. The pain would settle down in a day or two. Life would get going. I would get busy with working. I used to be a preschool teacher then. So you can imagine how busy the life is with the little kids around. And I'm also a mom of a 3-year-old. So things were pretty busy and hectic for me. I don't think I had much time to think about what is happening to me or give it more thought seriously. I always thought it is something related to my stomach, some gut issues, maybe I'm having some kind of food allergy, and it just kept going. I honestly, I didn't give it much importance in the beginning. And I think we all are either, our minds are trained in a way that we like to give importance to health, but not our own people around us, our families. So for me, my husband, my son were always the priority. And yeah, I would just dust it off, wake up the next morning and get going, not thinking too much about it. But when it started happening every single month, it started getting more tougher with each month, not just physically, but also emotionally. because it's a lot of uncertainty, anxiety. I saw there is a pattern mostly towards the last week of the month. I used to get these pains. So as soon as it would be around 20th or 25th of every month, I would start getting anxious, thinking, okay, now tomorrow I'll get the pain, tomorrow I'll get the pain. So I constantly started living in fear. My mind used to operate from the state of fear, and I consciously never realized it. Only now, when the whole journey, whole thing is over, and I sit back and reflect, I realize that, oh my God, I used to literally live in fear. I wish I had recognized that at that particular time. No matter how well educated you are, how well read you are, no matter how good the healthcare system is around you, how to deal with such crisis emotionally is something that no one teaches us. This is of least importance to us. And I think this is something that has to be given the priority. Your emotional well-being when you're going through a health crisis is something that has to be given the utmost priority. You have to take care of yourself. It is a holistic healing process. It's not just physical, it's an emotional and mental well-being that also plays a very important role. So when I started operating from the state of fear, I always felt exhausted. I had stopped living in the present. I had stopped enjoying the moment. I had stopped enjoying times with my son. I didn't like to go out. I was scared to eat anything because I used to feel, okay, what if I get the pain again? So in that whole fear of what if, the whole anticipation, it started getting to me after a while, and I really didn't know what to do. It didn't even occur to me that I need to talk to someone. And one big mistake I did, which I strongly recommend no one should do, is reach out to your family. I was so scared to even share it with my own parents, thinking that what if they get worried about it? Why do I want to stress them out? They're sitting so far away. Given the COVID situation, no one could travel, and it did put them in a very difficult spot. So that really added to my worry. So I had stopped sharing about it or talking about it also too much, but it was my husband who made it a point to share each and every small detail with my dad, with my family back home. And I remember one evening I was eating something, I'm not sure what I was eating, and I just suddenly started crying. And I just said it aloud that what if I'm eating this now? What if I get the pain again? I don't want to eat anything because I don't want to get that pain again. That's when Anand, my husband, made me talk to my dad, and that was like a liberating moment for me. The only thing he said that is, you know how to manage that pain. You have the medication now. You know how to manage that pain. It's okay, you eat everything, eat whatever you want, watch out, but stop living in that fear. If the pain comes, we know how to deal with it. This is when there was no diagnosis at all. I was running from one doctor to the other, tests after tests. I don't know how many specialists I have visited during the whole process. I've lost the count of it. And getting admitted in the emergency situation, staying in hospital for 2-3 days, it is all just so stressful, especially with a 3-year-old at home. I used to feel so bad and guilty of leaving him all by himself at home. Thankfully, I have a very good support system at home, so I didn't have to worry too much. But that guilt as a parent that you have, oh my God, it's really terrible. But this taught me something as a parent. We really underestimate our children. They're very strong, they're very smart, they understand things much more better than what we expect. my son is just 3 years old, and every time I got the pain, by now he was quite used to it, that mama gets the tummy pain and that's the time no one should go near her, she'll go to the hospital. So every time I got that, he would just say, okay mama, you're going to the hospital, please come back home tomorrow. And every time he said that, I just used to be so surprised, pleasantly surprised. Look at this 3-year-old having that kind of confidence. Why am I living in fear? I know that it is not easy. I have been through that. I'm sure there are many of you who have been going through many such circumstances. So what I'm sharing is not just applicable to your health situation, but in general we can learn so much from such kind of sharing sessions. How to be more stronger, how to create the kind of support system that will make you more stronger. You don't have to be alone fighting everything all time. uh, also I learned that how to prioritize yourself, because if you are not good, if you are not well, how are you going to take care of your family? If you are not happy, how are people around you going to be happy, right? So yep, it's definitely tough. It's easy to say and difficult to do, but you got to take that first step. You need to pick yourself up and say you can do it. So yes, my journey, as I say, I was sharing, it all started in December, and by I think mid May or June, I just went to a specialist, thinking that the GP thing is really not working, and they got a couple of tests, not a couple of tests, but many tests done, everything including endoscopy, ureteroscopy, all those kind of scopes, everything done. All the reports used to come back normal. Now that used to make the situation even more frustrating to me. There was no answer to all what I was going through. The pain never stopped. It used to come back every month. The doctors were clueless at a given point of time as to what is happening. All the reports coming back normal with a little bit of markings here and there, which were out of the normal range. But no one knew what is happening, and these are all very good reputed doctors, but thankfully they all work in teams. And one fine day, the doctor called us and he indicated to us that he was not very sure, but he had narrowed it down to 3 different conditions. He had shared it could either be an autoimmune disease, or TB of the small intestine, or lymphoma, splenic marginal zone lymphoma. Now, when you hear these big heavy words, half of the things that I don't even know, what do you expect? How are we going to react? I just shut down. According to the doctors, my spleen was enlarged. My white blood cells, the count was very low. These were the only 2 markings that they had, which didn't look good to them. So that's why they had narrowed down to these 3. But they were not sure. It needed more tests. It needed me to go to more specialists. And trust me, after changing doctors for so many months, it was more than 6 months now, it not just drains you out, but it also drains your family out. And hence I emphasize on creating that support system, that open communication with people who you love. You need that. You cannot be that super woman or superman at that kind of time. You need to have that kind of support to keep you going, to keep you mentally strong, because your mind is more powerful. If you make your mind so powerful that you can heal, you will physically also slowly be able to heal and overcome these kind of adversities. So yes, after approaching more specialists, we were recommended to a hematologist who conducted a bone marrow biopsy. I had never in my life imagined that I'll have to go through biopsy. So I didn't know too much about any of the 3 conditions, because I had decided I'm not going to read too much on them. The more I read, the more nervous I became. The minute the doctor had mentioned the word lymphoma, I just burst into tears over there. The first thing that came out from my mouth is, but I have a 3-year-old. How can I have it? Am I going to be okay? Am I going to die? These were the first words to my doctor. And I'm really, really very grateful that throughout this journey, all the doctors that I have had were so great, so supportive, and so kind to me. Not only they made me and my husband understand about the whole condition, but they also spoke to my family back home. It was definitely not an easy situation for us, but I think having this amazing medical team really helped us all to get that kind of confidence. So yes, after the bone marrow biopsy, it was confirmed that and I was diagnosed with splenic marginal zone lymphoma. My God, the name is itself so big and like a tongue twister. All I could process was the word lymphoma. Lymphoma for me was cancer. Cancer for all of us is like the jinxed word. Cancer equals to end of life. But thankfully, this was a slow-growing one and something that could be treated. The doctors didn't waste any time and they immediately started me on treatment. And since it was a slow growth and they had caught it at the early stage, we didn't even have to go in for chemotherapy. We did something called as the immunotherapy. The process is the same. I guess just the medication that's given to you is different. You really need to be very strong to go through this whole process. The first time I stepped into Parkaway Cancer Center, I froze. Why? Because the word cancer. It was really heartbreaking. I have no words to even share how I was feeling at that very moment. I was very scared. The one word that I can think of now is I was super, super scared to even step into that place. That was the first day. But something very beautiful happened. September, I don't exactly remember the dates. Early September, I got the pain again. The doctors had already decided when to start the treatment, and even before they could, sorry, excuse me, I got the pain again. And I rushed to emergency over there, and since it's a cancer center, there were people who were already going through their chemotherapy sessions over there. So we had small cubicles in the big room. There were small cubicles. Each patient had their own cubicle where they go through their chemo or immuno, whatever it is. It's just a couple of hour sessions. It gets over and then you can go back home. So there was a lady in the cubicle next to me. It was her birthday. She was going through she had come for her chemo session. Like most of the cancer patients who go through chemo, she had lost her hair and she was wearing a wig. So the nurse there, she came with the cake, they sang birthday song for her, and they also complimented, oh, your hair looks so beautiful. And you know what she said? I don't have to worry about my hair. I have no bad hair days now. I just have to put on the wig and go wherever I want to. And I was like, wow, look at how she is thinking. It is so difficult to be doing that. And that kind of put a smile on my face. And that was like my eureka moment. I don't know what happened, how it happened. But the minute I heard this lady say, I have no bad hair, I just have to put on the wig. I am really thankful to this lady. I don't know who she is. I haven't seen her. But yes, I'm totally grateful to her of how she expressed this thing. And it just kind of clicked that very moment. And I think I became more stronger from that moment onwards. I also realized in this whole journey that it is very important to talk, to acknowledge the emotions that you are going through. Don't bottle up your emotions. It's not just during your health crisis, but through any kind of adversity or challenging situation. It could be trouble in relationships, it could be trouble at work, it could be trouble with your family, it could be any kind of situation. Do not bottle up your emotions. Talk about it. And now that doesn't mean you go and talk about it to everyone, but find that close network, Create a community around yourself where you feel comfortable talking and sharing. It's okay to be vulnerable. It is okay to cry. Crying doesn't make anyone weak. Growing up, we've always heard, why are you crying? Crying is for weak. But no, I really think you need that courage to shed those tears and be vulnerable. So, yes, speak up, share what you're going through. It really helps you to lighten down. So as I said earlier at the beginning, this part of the video is just going to be about what I went through pre-diagnosis, and a little bit about the treatment process. So I went through 6 sessions of immunotherapy, 1 per week. I didn't expect it to be so tough on me. Emotionally, I think I was doing okay. Things were improving day by day, and that kind of helped me to take a physical control over myself. All these treatments do take a toll on your body. I suddenly started losing weight, but I didn't get sad. You know what I did? It's time for more shopping. So I started shopping for more clothes to feel happier. And boy, I felt so happy. And I could eat anything. My dad gave me an idea of eating ice cream every day so that I could maintain the weight or put on some weight. I could eat more ice creams. I could eat cakes. I could eat cheese. I was pretty happy with that. So again, it all comes to how you look at the situation. I could have sulked about it, felt bad about it, that, oh my God, I'm losing weight. And it was not some 2 or 3 kilos. I had lost around 10 kilos. And it looked terrible. Yes, it looked terrible. So, yep, I looked at the positive side of it. Thankfully, I got that kind of control over myself by then to look at the brighter side of life. And that's what exactly I did. And it really helped. Yeah. And yeah, even while I'm talking, it's really difficult to put things in words and be super articulate. So that's why you will find me going all over. Please do not mind. It's not easy for anyone to share their journey when they're going through something like this. Yes. So yeah, I was just sharing that I went through 6 sessions of immunotherapy, and with each sessions, I just got more stronger. There was also one day which I am very proud of, where I went for my therapy all by myself. My husband was really tied up with work. He had something very important which couldn't be postponed, and I went all by myself and came back. And I am damn proud about it. Could I have done this all by myself? I don't think so. It was the confidence that my friend gave me. It was the confidence that I got from my family. It was also the confidence that I got from the medical team. There was this one very wonderful nurse over there, Nurse Gwen. I owe this thing to you. She was the sweetest of all. I mean, every staff at Parkway Cancer Center is so sensitive and so helpful, loving and caring. It just makes the journey more smoother. I don't know if it makes the journey happier or not. It totally depends on you, but it definitely makes you more stronger. It definitely makes the journey more stronger. So yes, reach out, speak to people. You have therapists to speak to. You have counselors to speak to. I also had one session with a counselor who gave me a lot of confidence in myself. So what she said was, again, it was about living in fear as to if the pain will come. The doctors were very confident that you're not going to get the pain again once the treatment started, because the medicines are working on you. So the only thing that I remember the counselor saying is that you already have the tools with you. You already have the pills with you. So what if the pain comes? Let it come. We will deal with it. You can come back over here and we will face it. So I was also feeling very bad that why am I living in fear? Why am I not able to get out of it? It was almost a year or 9 months of living in that fear versus just 1 or 2 weeks of treatment. If you compare the both, I have lived in fear for a very long time, and suddenly to come out of it, it's not realistic. Just because the treatment started, I couldn't have overcome that so easily. It takes time. I don't think I have still come out of that fear. It will take time, and I could realize that and recognize that only after I had a chat with my counselor. So yes, reach out to professionals, reach out to the medical team. People are very kind and good to you if you ask for help. It doesn't make us look weak if we ask for help. We don't have to do it or battle it all alone. There are people who are there to help you through this journey, walk you through this journey, and that's what makes it more beautiful. Uh, again, the treatment phase also, there were a lot of ups and downs because it takes a toll on your body, and physically you become weak, a little inactive. I don't know where those 6 weeks went by, but I do remember that I had just started out with a new job as well, and just to distract myself, I deeply involved myself into work so much that I thought I don't have time to think about my health condition. Just putting myself deep into work. I was juggling between two different jobs at that point of time, and I thought that is the right way. Why do I want to give my mind that space and time to think about anything else, or think about surround myself with any negative thoughts? But that didn't go well as well. There came a day when I came back home after work. It was right after the first round of immunotherapy, and the side effects had started to show up. So I wanted to be a superwoman, a daredevil, and I used to have my sessions on Friday. So on Monday, I went back to work. I thought it's all going to be okay. What's going to happen? And all the side effects started showing up, and I didn't want to acknowledge and accept that I'm going through this. I was hell bent upon staying strong and being that superhero and saying that, hey, I can face it all, I can do it all, I can manage it all. And I didn't complain until there came a point when I broke down again. I just couldn't take it anymore. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what I was saying. It is still like a hazy conversation for me. I clearly don't remember what were some of the things I was speaking when I had that meltdown as well. So that comes down to, again, accepting and acknowledging what you are going through, and not shutting yourself down and drowning yourself with work and other activities so that you forget. I think it is very okay to get those negative thoughts. You're a human. You're not a machine. This is your mind. It has all the right to think and feel what it wants to. It's a very organic process. So it's very important to go through all kinds of emotions and feelings and talk about it and acknowledge it, so that it just helps you through this whole journey. And yes, I am very proud to say that my treatment is over. It's all been successfully done. I'm very proud that there was one day when I went all by myself, and I can't stop bragging about it. If I close my eyes and think about the first day of the first session of my treatment, and that particular day when I went alone, I am very proud of myself. I definitely deserve a pat on my back for this. So I think, yeah, that's pretty much for this particular session. I just wanted to make sure I share what my learnings were pre my diagnosis and during my treatment. I don't want to talk more about the medical terms of the condition because that's not really relevant. We can all Google and find out what splenic marginal zone lymphoma is. Being a coach, life coach, being a social worker, I felt it is very important to emphasize more on the mental and emotional journey that one has been through, and that's what I tried to put into this video, and I hope it kind of helps you and inspires you as well. As someone who's been through it, it's definitely not been easy time for me to talk about it. But yes, I'm proud of it today, and I'm really grateful and thankful to my family, to my medical team who has helped me. In the next video, I will talk about a very important phase, which is post your treatment. You will get a lot of support. You will think a lot about things during the treatment, but what about after? You don't have to forget about it. It is as important as the phase you went through during treatment. So that's something I'll talk about in part 2 of the video. I hope you take some time out and watch that as well. Until then, wishing you all good health. Stay safe, stay healthy, prioritize yourself, talk about your emotions and feelings, and create that support network around you. Thank you for listening to me, and bye bye.